Hey, this is Dr. Tartt, Christian psychology. You know, I have a calling to merge faith and mental health. So I had to pull over here at church because I was full with a word. This is called, is your faith bigger than a dog? Is your faith bigger than a dog? And this is specifically for those of you who have a vision and a calling, but you have grown distressed. The spirit of suicide has crept into your spirit, or you have gotten upset, you're frustrated, you're mad, you're distant from your family and your friends. This message is for you because I want to encourage you. I want to start with a story. I had a woman that I saw in my counseling office, and she had a son and two daughters and a husband. And I've been trying to get her to leave her job because she was full of work stress, and it was stressing her out to where it was impacting her health. And she just could not leave. Have you ever had the emotion to where you know what you're doing is too small for you, but the vision that God has for you, the vision you have in your brain, you're just too afraid to go after it. It's too many risks, and you know you should do it, but you're feeling like kind of like a spiritual punk for not doing it. And it's agitating you, and it's messing with your family, it's messing with your relationship with your friends, because you become consumed with this vision. Well, Miss D was the same way. I mean, she knew. She was talented when it came to making gift baskets. And I've been trying to encourage her to take a chance, go by some stores, let them see the baskets, and if they want them, let them order it. And she called me one day for an emergency session. All right, so I knew something was wrong. When she walked in, she says, "Doc, I have some good news." I took the advice, and I went and I dropped the gift baskets off at Walmart about 2 weeks ago, and they called me this week, and they wanted me to make 50 baskets. And I said, "That's good news. Why do you seem so sad?" She said, "Because, Doc, I don't have any time to make the baskets." I thought she was talking about, she had to work and after hours, and they want them in 2 weeks. But what she said was that the doctors had only given her 30 days to live. And she felt terrible. And what she regretted the most, other than saying goodbye to her husband and her 3 children, was the fact that she was going to die with this basket business still inside of her soul, and she never really was able to see out how it was going to turn out. And so I got to thinking, what makes us feel helpless? How can we move from hope and have talent, and other people tell us we have talent, and then we don't move forward? And then I thought about it. There's this study called Learned Helplessness by Dr. Seligman and Dr. Mayer, and they wanted to see, can they create helplessness? So they did a study with dogs. The first set of dogs, they just put in a harness. That's all they did. Put in a harness and they let them go. Second set of dogs, they put them in a harness, but they had to push a lever. And if they pushed the lever, they could stop the shock under their feet. So these dogs were shocked, but if they pushed the lever, they could stop their pain. So they had no control of when the pain came, but when the pain came, they could stop it. And then there's group number 3. They had the dogs in a harness with the same lever, but this time the lever did not work. They disconnected it. So the dogs pushed the lever, it did not stop the pain. So the dogs just had to simply take the pain. So they moved them on to the real experiment because they wanted to see what happened. All right. So from the first situation, you had dogs just in a harness. Second set of dogs in a harness, but they could control stopping their pain. And a third group could not stop their pain. They couldn't control it starting, and they couldn't stop it from stopping. All right. So it started, and they just had to deal with it. All right. So those are 3 dogs. So they got to the second scenario. All right. So they got to the second scenario, and it was a box. And all the dogs had to do when the shock came was jump over the box. So group 1 dogs jumped over the box. Group 2 dogs that could control stopping their pain jumped over the box. But when it came to the group 3 dogs, all right, only 2/3 of the dogs laid down. They didn't even try to get over the box. They just took the shock. They took the pain. My friends, have you ever gotten to the point where you felt so helpless you just stopped trying? And you just accepted the pain of life? And you felt like there's nothing for you? If there is a God, he's not hearing you? Or you felt like if God is real, he's just taking too long, it's too stressful, it's too much? And then maybe you start thinking maybe this vision is not for you? But remember, my friends, only 2/3 of the dogs didn't jump. 1/3 of the dogs that had never been able to stop their pain were able to jump over the box. My friends, they had learned how to have faith. So they were looking at the other dogs, and instead of thinking, well, what's the point of jumping over the box? It's just going to be pain. What they did instead was they said, well, if it's pain on this side, what do I have to lose by jumping over the box? What do I have to lose by giving up everything and just jumping over the box to the other side to see if I can get my blessing, see if I can stop this pain? My friends, we can learn a lesson from that. We can learn a lesson. I want to show you something from the scripture. If you look at Matthew 9, verse 18 through 22, it talks about Jesus healing a woman who was bleeding. And it says, as Jesus was saying, this leader of the synagogue came and knelt before him. My daughter has just died, he said, but you can bring her back to life if you just come and lay your hand on her. So Jesus and the disciples got up and went with him. So then the woman who had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding came up to him. She touched the fringe of his robe, and she thought, if I can just touch his robe, I can be healed. Jesus turned around when he saw her and said, daughter, be encouraged. Your faith has made you well. And the woman was healed at that moment. So when I started thinking about that, I had some questions. Here this woman was that was bleeding for 12 years. And you know, in the Bible, in the book of Leviticus, if you were bleeding, you were quarantined. You couldn't even, it's like when cancer treatments have to get radiation. They have to be locked in a room so they don't contaminate, everyone else, anyone outside the room. So this woman was isolated, away from her family, ostracized, rejected, bleeding for 12 years. I'm trying to figure out what gave her the faith to go looking for Jesus. The first point is that she was active. She didn't just wait on Jesus. She went looking for him. So please stop saying, I'm waiting on the Lord, waiting on the Lord, waiting on the Lord, waiting on the Lord. Now, if God tells you to be still, do that. That is a thing. But if God is telling you to go and pursue it, get out of your own head, get out of your own house, and go out there and pursue your dream. We don't say we're waiting on a meal. We go buy it. We go get it. We go cook it. I went by Krispy Kreme last night. The line was long. Everyone went to go get donuts. It's funny how we'll go get donuts because we know no one will bring donuts to us, but we won't go get close to God. We won't go searching for faith. We won't go looking for the answers. And last time I recall, Ruth went and worked in Boaz's field so that she could find a husband. She didn't wait for Boaz to come to her. She went and positioned herself. He saw a beautiful woman and made her his wife. Point number 2, how did she get to Jesus? I mean, everyone out there was trying to touch Jesus to get a blessing. Everyone was trying to do it. How did this meek woman who was bleeding for 12 years, you knew she had to be weak, she knew she had to travel from the outskirts just to get to him. How did she reach him? How did she get to him? Think about it. Sometimes your setback is a set up for success. I would imagine if she was bleeding, everyone moved out the way. If that was me, I probably would rub a little bit on my hand. Excuse me. And she got to God, and she had the belief and the faith. I can just get close enough to him. I can have faith. And he turned around and he said, it was your faith that healed you. Your faith. Your faith. How much faith do you have to get close enough to Jesus? And can you not give up? And know that if you get closer and closer, God is going to grant you what you want in your heart. Otherwise, he wouldn't put it there. But it's not going to happen overnight. And then number 3, how did she maintain faith for 12 years of pain? What she did, my friends, was she didn't let her temporary pain be her lifetime pain. I'm going to say that again. She didn't let her temporary pain be her lifetime of pain. You've been through hardships. You've had some abuse in the past. You've had some failed relationships. You've had some bad investment deals. You failed at school. Whatever your thing, you failed at marriage. Whatever your thing is does not have to be your future life. God does not promise us a perfect life, but what he does promise us, if we persevere and we surround ourselves with encouragers and we have faith, what happens in the past doesn't have to happen in the future. See, something happens when you pull something back. Or when you compress something, when you suppress something, say you take a spring and you suppress it and you hold it down and it hurts. What happens when you let go? It springs up higher than everyone else. And that's why every success story you see, they have that press down moment. You see that Oprah Winfrey being neglected and ignored, and now she's interviewing people, making sure they don't feel neglected. And you have Tyler Perry seeing his mother, his grandma, his mother being beaten, and here he is, comes up with this character similar to Medea to make his mom laugh. It's like his grandmother, and here he is elevated above everyone else. It's funny that when you see people at the top, they have a story. So I want to let you know that what is suppressing you, once that season is over and you have faith and you take your hand off of your own pain, you're going to spring up higher than everyone else. Now, as I close, I want you to know that God wants to bless you, but you have to have faith in him. You have to sit down, you have to have dinner, you have to have a relationship with someone who can encourage you. Get off your laptop, get out your house, stop doing this by yourself. I know the pain of that. Go out and talk to other people so they can encourage you. Now, I ended up seeing Mrs. D's family. She passed 2 weeks later. They came in for grief counseling, and sad story is Walmart called, and they actually wanted 1,000 baskets because she was able to produce 25 of the baskets, and they sold so quickly that other stores wanted to produce these baskets during Thanksgiving and Christmas. So here they were sitting on an order of 1,000 baskets, and they didn't know she passed, so that it can never be fulfilled. Her life was special so that you can pick this up. However you got to this, don't delay on your dream because we are not allowed it. We're not allowed it more time. We're not allowed it more time. All right? So listen. Without God, we can fall. And the devil is crafty, and he can get into our dreams and make us feel like we're unworthy. But with God and surrounding yourself around people who are going to encourage you, you can persevere, and God is going to grant you so that your setback becomes a set up for success. So friends, I leave you this afternoon. Is your faith stronger than a dog's? I'm Dr. Tartt. God bless.